McJunior Club TV. This live-action Nickelodeon series consisted of 10 3-minute-long episodes. These were produced through a partnership between Nickelodeon and McDonald's, and made for a Dutch audience. They were aired interstitially, but it appears they could have been watched on the Dutch Nickelodeon website at some point. The stories were as simple as the 3-minute runtime would suggest, with protagonist Bob being very bad at his job, which is where a majority of the punchlines come from. Since these were very much a product of their time, existing in 2008, and since they were rather obscure, all episodes are lost. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, It Takes Two. The Marvin Gaye and Kim Weston song It Takes Two was covered by the English voice actors for Ash and Misty from Pokemon. The lyrics in this cover were redone, and the topic was double battles. This was to promote the new mechanic in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. This song is found and can easily be accessed. However, there's rumored to be a rare commercial from either 2003 or 2004 that uses that version of the song. And this commercial, if it does indeed exist, is believed to be the source of the song, as the actual song wasn't released as part of any album, like similar ones would have been around the time. Some information given by Veronica Taylor, Ash's voice actor, conflicts with the commercial hypothesis though, as she believed it wasn't meant to be released at all and was only for internal use, as she put it. It actually surprised her to learn that the song was even on the internet at all.
Thanks, Jamie. Good evening, everyone. Short track is truly living on an edge. Tonight, all five must be daring and block out the fear of crashing into a barrier or losing consciousness if they should crash head first onto the rock-hard ice beneath their feet.
The Games. This was a British competition show from the 2000s, in which contestants would compete in Olympic-style events in two teams, one team of men and another team of women. All the contestants in this show would be celebrities as well, which is another interesting aspect to the show. The show would be split into two parts, a qualifying and a finals, with only contestants that performed well enough going on to the final portion. Points were awarded based on performance, with the winner being the person that had earned the most points. This show wasn't rerun very much, and because of that, it only had become more obscure as time has gone on. There have been some clips uploaded to YouTube, but the vast majority of the run is unavailable. Wario World, early version. Some of you might remember the GameCube game Wario World. It's probably not the most popular or anything, but it's a game starring Nintendo's yellow hat-wearing greedy guy, so it's certainly remembered by a decent number of people. What's less remembered, though, is the early version, shown at E3 2002. Some enemies were removed from the final game, and quite a few textures in the game were changed as well, and a bit of the level design went through changes in the final version, resulting in the version that ended up being released. Some people theorize that these changes, and the delayed release the game experienced, was the result of trying to get the ESRB rating down from a T rating, but basically no playable version of the 2002 build of Wario World is available.
Years have passed since our kingdoms have assembled. Our only hope lies in the prophecy.
Empires of the Deep. As a collaboration between China and the US, Empires of the Deep was a response to James Cameron's Avatar, made for Eastern audiences. The story is about a race called Reptiles, the antagonists of the story, fighting against mermaids for control over Earth's oceans. There are trailers to this film that go all the way back to 2010, with a release planned for 2011. Obviously, 2011 has already happened, with no release of Empires of the Deep occurring. Then in 2012, another trailer released, expecting a film release in 2013, with the trailer being panned by audiences, which result in the release being pushed back even further. Then, things were quiet, when a crowdfunding trailer was released in 2016, but the film never did get released. Obviously, the actual film is lost, but pretty much all of the pre-2016 materials are also lost. SpongeBob Town. Believe it or not, at one point there was a SpongeBob MMO game called SpongeBob Town, produced through a collaboration with South Korean company Blue Arc. The game was planned for an international release, being developed in 2011 and 2012, with development ending in 2012. There was a playable beta available that showed a mostly finished product around this time. Despite this, it seems the product was just dropped once the playable build came out, with no further progress being made. Even though the game was planned to be developed further, it just never was. Despite the game's lost status, there is still a lot of footage and screenshots, giving us an understanding of what it was and what it could have been. The Avengers. I know what you're thinking from the title, but The Avengers I'm talking about is the British spy series from the 60s. It aired from 1961 to 1969, and as it went on, it had a reputation for adding more and more sci-fi elements. A rather fresh idea was its concept of swapping off protagonists gradually, which was an especially cool idea for the time. Despite this, it never really caught on, and isn't considered very influential in that way. The 1960s in British television is an especially noteworthy era due to just how many of its shows are lost to time, thanks to subpar preservation practices, with the tapes being wiped and recycled for future use. Because of this, a huge chunk of the first season of The Avengers is lost. Eddie Retractorhead. In episode 26, one of the entries was Eddie Retractorhead, a British series of shorts that made use of very random humor. Wow, it seems like there's a lot of British stuff in this episode, and this isn't even the last of it. Anyway, these shorts were very short, each clocking in at only about a minute long. When I last talked about these, only about 6 of them were found. However, recently, an Internet Archive user was able to upload all of them, thanks to a CD from director Gene Flynn. Meaning the search is now over.
If your boss is a jerk and you get home from work and you feel like a troglodyte, there's instant relief from this hardship and grief. Thank goodness for Nick at Night!
Early Nick at Night bumpers. Nick at Night is a well-known block that airs nightly on Nickelodeon, as the name would suggest, and has done so since 1985. As the eras have progressed, programming has kept up with the times, with programming initially consisting of shows from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, with 90s and 2000s shows making up much of today's programming. A lot of the original bumpers were animated, and predictably with interstitial material, it's not always available. Since it's really unknown how many of these were made, it's not known how many are lost, but we do know that what's available now isn't everything. All-time 10s. If you were on YouTube at all in the early 2010s, chances are you've seen one of this channel's videos. But in the 2020s, it's less likely. For the unaware, All-Time 10s was a British educational channel on YouTube, most popular in the early to mid-2010s. Each video would be a factual top 10 of some kind, with high production values for the time. Their videos were unvoiced originally, but later had voiceover added to their later videos. With little to no fanfare, their channel was just deleted in early 2024, with their videos not being able to be archived beforehand. Due to this, only some re-uploads have occurred in various places on the internet, and not close to the whole channel's worth of videos. The more recent the video, the less likely it is to be re-uploaded, with the bulk of the found videos being earlier ones. There's a small collection of re-uploads on the Internet Archive, and a small collection of third-party re-uploads on YouTube. And outside of this, All-Time 10's second channel is still around, with only 5 videos. The latest upload on that channel occurred in September of 2012.